Hi everyone, welcome back to another of my Endgame Compositions. This is another really beautiful one from Emanuel Lasker. Emanuel Lasker, you'll probably know, he was the second world champion, a very strong player, and he was also a very good endgame player. And this particular composition just shows how good of an endgame player and how good his understanding of endgames was. He actually, I believe, did about 53 different endgame compositions, so quite a few, and this is just one of his amazing compositions that he produced. So it's white to move in this position, just to kind of give you a little brief summary of this position. So materially it's equal, but black does have this double pawn here on the F file. White would love to break through here, but it's very difficult. It's not so easy to push this pawn, as we'll find out. So see if you can find the winning solution here. See if you can find a way for white to make a breakthrough in this position. Okay, so there's actually two solutions to this, because both solutions work in this position, and that's either the move king to b3 or king to a3. But I will just show you one failed solution. If, let's say, the move pawn to b5, this is probably the other, maybe a solution that you thought of. The problem with this move is after the pawn captures here on b5, king to b4, the king comes to b7, and it looks as though white can make progress in this position as he can go and capture here on b5. But there's a problem. Black has got a really strong move, a6. The king has to go back, and wherever he goes back to, if he goes back to a4 or b4, it doesn't matter. White can't make any more progress in this position. Just to show you why he can't make any progress, if, let's say, king comes to c6, how is white going to make a breakthrough in this position? The black king is defending this pawn from moving any further, and the white king has got no way to enter into this position. This entry point is covered. If he tries to go around over here, there's no point, because there's no entry over on this side as well. So black is able to hold this position. Really interesting, quite instructive as well when you're looking for pawn breaks. So going back, it may surprise you that king to a3 and king to b3 are the solution, but let's have a look why. When the king comes to b3, an obvious move that you're probably thinking of here for black, and it looks a bit, again, it looks a bit paradoxical. Well, can't you just play king to b5? How is white going to make any progress in this position? The king has nowhere it can go to. In fact, if he moves away from this pawn, it's going to be white now losing the position. So how does he make progress? Well, he doesn't go to a3. In fact, he has another really strong move here, the move a6. This is really key. This is how white is able to make a breakthrough in this position. So he does a temporary sacrifice of one of his pawns, but this is the idea. After the king comes to a6, we can now play the move king to a4. Lovely. And unfortunately now, the black king has got nowhere it can go to. You can see he's got no other legal moves. He can't do a waiting move here at all. So he has to go backwards with his king to b7. It's the only move. And now we have, again, we've got to be very precise in this position to win this. If we play the move king to a5, which looks logical, we're going after this pawn, there's a problem. Pawn to a6. We're not going to make any progress now. The king has got nowhere further it can go to. If it comes back to a5, we've reached a similarist position but it's basically white cannot break through here. So if, I don't know, king to a7 probably works in this position. So yeah, it just holds here. King to a5, we just end up repeating the position. We cannot make a breakthrough. So as I say, we have to be very precise here. So the move here is then again another really spectacular pawn break move, and that is the, so if I go back here, and that's the move b5. Really strong move. And what is black to do in this position? Well, let's have a look at a couple of solutions. If the pawn captures here, we take the pawn back, and okay, black could play this a6 idea to try and stop our king from going further, but after a5, what is black to do in this position? If he comes to c6, we capture this pawn, and well, wherever this king goes to, we are going to make progress in this position. We've managed to infiltrate the position. So let's say king to c7, maybe king to b5 is quite a strong move, and I don't know, let's say the king comes to b7, we've now got the move c6. Very strong. We're going to start destroying black's pawn structure, and there's nothing that black can do in this position. If I actually go back as well, I think a bit more of a challenging defense if, let's say, he comes over here, c6 is played, and let's just say, I don't know, the king comes to d6 to try and hold on to this position. There's a couple of moves that work really well here. In fact, king to b6 is probably strong, but I think c7 is a little bit more direct. After king takes here, we can move here to c5. We're going to be winning these pawns, and there's nothing that the black king can do about it. Very powerful. So that's how he makes the breakthrough here. So we'll go back just a little bit though, because there was one other solution that black can play. I think it's a little bit stronger. So we had a look at what happens after the king comes to b5, which looks like the most logical move. Let's say he doesn't do that. Let's say he just goes back to b7. Now, how does white make any progress now? You might be asking yourself. Well, after the move a6, which is a really strong move, king takes here, we've basically had a transposition to the position that we just looked at. So we've actually transposed now, and we are able to make a similar breakthrough. So king coming back, we move forward. If a6, sorry, we don't move forward, so we play b5 here, creating that second pawn break, and then we are able to infiltrate in this position. Really beautiful study, and as I say, it really just shows the importance of looking for the right pawn breaks, but also sometimes, as you see in this position, giving up pawns for the sake of improving your activity is really important, and this position just shows it. White goes down temporarily a pawn, but is able to activate his position, activate his king in particular, to then win this endgame. So I hope you enjoyed this position. I hope this was instructive for you in your king and pawn endings. If you like this video and you like some of my other endgame compositions, why don't you give my channel a subscribe? I do have other videos that look at some other very interesting endgame positions that you can check out as well on my channel. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.